I like to talk a little bit about the modern data stack because it's been around for a while. So can you just talk me through what is this and is it still as modern as it claims to be?
I don't know that I like the word or the phrase, I should say, modern data stack. That word modern to me, I think it doesn't fit, right? Maybe it's clever marketing. And to be fair, we've all used it. We're all guilty at one point or another. I think the challenge right now, if I could rephrase it, I think we want an agile data stack. We want a sustainable data stack. Modern gives me the impression that there's always something better coming in. So I go from what's modern yesterday to what's modern today to will be modern tomorrow. What I really need is sustainability. What I really need is agility. What I really need is compliance. What I really need is performance. What I really need is efficiency. And so, how would I define all that today? I think that's the real question. And how do I make sure that I can maintain whatever that design looks like over the near future? I have a lot of opinions for what that looks like. I think those opinions are largely based on where you are, right? So your modern data stack, I think, depends on what your today looks like, right? What can you get to? What do you need to get to? And for some companies, if we're all on-prem and we're trying to get to a modern data stack, maybe that means just trying to take the best advantage of our on-prem capabilities in a way that allows our business teams to succeed. For teams that are trying to get to the cloud, that's a different journey. And for teams that are already in the cloud, that's a different journey. But I think for all of us, modern is defined differently. And I think for all of us, we absolutely would embrace the concept that sustainable and agile need to kind of fit in with that same word modern. So anyway, long opinion, but I think that's you hit it. You started right off the bat with a key spot for me.
All right, nice. So your data set's got to be agile, sustainable, compliant, performant, and efficient. That's a lot of requirements. Maybe we'll start with agile then. So what would it mean for your data stack to be agile?
Yeah, I think there's different layers there. Let's start with the business layer. I think on the business side, when I think about an agile, and I don't know that I would use the word data stack, but I think about an agile data team or an agile data function. I think for me, it's the ability to say, I need data to solve this problem for me today. And then to come back tomorrow and say, I need a different data set to solve the same problem, or I need a different data set to solve a new problem. And then to come back the next day and say, I'm not even sure what data I need, but go find it for me, so to speak. And the agility for me means that I can always bring new data sets to bear on new business problems. That's the agility because the market's shifting. I think when I'm thinking about an engineering perspective or an architecture perspective, I think the agility there for me is being able to respond, is saying, hey, I've spent a lot of time moving all this data into this one space. And maybe that's a proprietary environment. And I've spent a lot of time building these really cool models that I think work for these business teams today or these applications today. Agility for me means that I can take that and leverage it for a different solution. Or agility for me means that I can build something new for somebody different. Agility for me means that I can respond to what the business is asking for in a very efficient way, that I don't have to go rebuild from scratch every single time, that maybe I've got this foundation of building blocks. We'll talk about data products layer later, but I think maybe we can talk about core data products and derivative data products, but some way for me to maintain some core, some foundation, and then just be able to rebuild very quickly on top of it. That for me is agility. Now, I'll give you one more. If I'm on the way back end of that, right? I'm on the infrastructure side, and I'm having to deal with hardware on-prem or in the cloud. Agility for me means that I can make smart decisions for how I manage the infrastructure. That I am not tied to every time I want to move something, I've got to go 3 layers up and say, hey, are you sure it's not going to bother your Power BI app? I want some level of abstraction, right? Agility for me means that I can make the right decisions for my infrastructure without impacting every layer in front of me, right? I can be smart about what I do and when I do it.
So it sounds like from the business point of view, a lot of it's about, well, I don't know what data questions I want to ask tomorrow. So the data team needs to be able to deal with that uncertainty and still have this sort of time to bring some business value. I'm just wondering how you go about implementing that. Where do you start?
I think it starts with the business. So maybe let's think about something completely different than the way we're used to dealing with this. I think a traditional way would be, let's go see if we can fill or build this architecture, this data stack that can respond to everything. And we'll do it in isolation, and then we'll go talk to the business team and see if we got it right. I'm not sure that works. I think what I would argue is we would sit down with the business now, we would get the business teams engaged today, And we would actually partner with the business teams in co-developing that. And I think what comes out of that conversation isn't this big architecture that IT manages, that the business is a customer of. What we look at today, I think what we get to is an environment where you've got the business pulled much further into the IT realm. And not that they're all coding, right? Not that they're all necessarily becoming engineers, but that they feel much more empowered, right? All of a sudden, I've got a business team that's sitting in the room with my engineers or sitting in the room with my data scientists, and we're having really smart conversations about how they use data because it's given to them or offered to them in a way that they understand it. And so, to your question, how do we get started? How do we build it? I think from this point going forward, I think we start and we build it with the business and we build it together. And that maybe that demarcation line of this is where IT ends and the business starts, I think maybe that shifts left a little bit. Again, not because we want to make them coders, but because we're starting to offer them data sets, data assets, data insight in a way that they're really, really starting to understand not just what it is, but actually how to use it and how to manipulate it.